Hello and welcome to the Joaquim4gov broadcast, Monday 4th of February, AM edition. First off, I just was told as I was leaving home that there's been apparently another shooting in the US. Some dude shot some other dude at a gun range. The name of the victim was interesting because I recognized that name, Chris Kyle, ex-SEAL. The reason I've heard of him is that he was publicizing his book by making up this story that he punched out Jesse Ventura in some SEAL pub. And anyway, he was getting sued for it because Jesse Ventura reckons that it was totally fabricated, and he was basically going to have to cop up. And the way that he was just from nobody to somebody and going onto a lot of network TV shows and talking this story, when if they did their due diligence they would have known pretty easily that it was a made up story, is something very interesting. It's also interesting that he got shot at a range, which is it's something that would be very, very rare. It's not like it's a mass shooting or anything like that, although I'm sure that's what they would have said it was and what they're pushing it to be classified as. Because if you shoot someone at a range, obviously you're surrounded by people that have guns and know how to use them and don't really want people to be killed. So I imagine that our shooter didn't last very long. So Chris Kyle's now out of the story. We'll never hear what happened to him. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe, this was literally a cursory glance. Oh, I know that name. Oh, okay. So who knows? Maybe I could be totally wrong. But yeah, look up that link if you're interested. It's very interesting. So I've had a couple more comments from people, which is good. David, yeah, it's legal. I'll leave it at that. I've reread the road rules again, and the fact that it might give the wrong impression is good. That's what I want. If you're that kind of person that sees this and your automatic reaction is to think that I'm brazenly doing something that might be illegal, maybe you'll first off read the road rules yourself and get more acquainted with our legal system and what you can and can't do. But it's all just symbolic of this worship of authority. There are laws that I won't follow if I can get away with it, because they're stupid laws, and that's the whole point of changing laws. I'll ride my bike down the street without a helmet, for example. I'll take a risk doing that. It's a stupid law. I'm not going to follow it if it doesn't hurt anyone else. On the other side of that, there's roads up on the other side of Hartley or Bell's Line of Road that their speed limit I could legally do, and I won't necessarily, because even though I can, it's dangerous, especially on the conditions. So I think that more people need to question laws and just stop blindly following and actually know your laws even better. If you do hold a position on something, read the relevant act and know the very specifics of it, because chances are you'll be surprised. When I read that, I thought of a story. Not long ago, I went to the cricket at the SCG. We were walking from Central to the cricket ground, and there was the last pub on the corner there, the one that's closest to the SCG. And I saw hundreds of people going up. That you could cross at a corner and go straight there, but there was a cop on the corner there. And I even heard people talking. Everyone automatically assumed he was there to stop you crossing the road there, because there was no little green man thing. Aside from the fact that I could see that there were two cops either side of a driveway entrance kind of thing, and that's what they were there for. Again, why would you not just cross the freaking road? So after watching hundreds of people want to go down there, talk about not being able to go down there because there was a cop there, with his stormtrooper stance with the shades, just giving nothing away. And yeah, go down another block, go down across, and then come back up, and then go there. I just crossed. And of course, he wasn't there to stop people crossing the road. It's ridiculous. I assume that that's people's assumption of jaywalking and things like that, but that's what I mean. Question your laws. If they're stupid, do something about it, and don't be afraid of police, for Pete's sake. Nikki. We have debates in person that stretch for all night, so I'm not going to start that over this medium, because that's all I'll talk about is me and you, Nikki. So all I will say is okay, home birth example. Look, I'm not going to go into the numbers, whether it's right or wrong or good or bad or whatever. They're systematically wiping out independent home birth midwives. I want that to stop. Simple. That's it. There are Medicare midwives, and we don't go with them because they're not independent. They're just creatures of the AMA. So no. What sort of libertarian am I? Well, you will find out over the coming months. That's the point of this broadcast. I don't follow a libertarian rulebook, obviously. A good example of that would be privatization, classical libertarians that follow that specific, everything must be privatized, but, if it's public infrastructure that's already been paid for, that is going to be privatized to a multinational company that has got no repercussions, it can't answer to the people that it's servicing, basically, or it doesn't have to, and that money is used for a collectivist government to fund its collectivist programs, then no, I wouldn't be for that. I'm a libertarian, but I'm practical, and I see the way the world is run right now, and you can't just blindly apply a libertarian policy to the world right now. That's what I was trying to get to about the opt-in, opt-out, where you make inroads to that. And when you have more of a libertarian world, then you can be more libertarian. You can't just go to the extreme straight away. Interesting though, Nikki said that you can't trust people, talking about the example that I made with letting people deal with their own rubbish, and that you can't trust people to do that kind of thing. By the way, yes, I know a lot goes into rates, and because I've read, what actually goes into it, I know. So that was just an example that people will be able to relate to, because you don't need to read into it to know everything that goes into rates. But yeah, this is an interesting theory that a lot of people have, where a certain group of people can't be trusted for a certain thing, and that's what you're doing now. If you just leave the system to do whatever it wants and you're not involved, say, 6 people in a council, or however many, 9, 12 at most, councillors, you're leaving them, you're trusting them to do whatever the hell they want, especially if you aren't going to get involved, and you're openly saying you're not going to get involved, and then they know even more they can push you. The idea of doing something in this way, in a libertarian way, I guess, is you're basically diluting the crazy, instead of letting 12 councillors decide how to do something, you can let thousands of people decide how to do something individually on their own. And collectively they will make a decision for something. You have a society. Collectivism is a dirty word, I guess, but that's how it works. The individual's choice, every individual's choice put together, will decide the outcome, but they're given the choice at an individual level. So that idea that you can't trust people to look after their garbage, people that are just going to dump anyway are doing it now. How is that even applicable? It doesn't make sense. Someone who is going to go through the effort to do the paperwork, to look after their own rubbish, to try and get the rates down, they're just going to dump it. They'd be dumping it now if they were doing that. So you're not really changing anything there. And if you go out to remote enough areas, people have to look after it themselves, because there's not enough people for a council to do that for you. People need to collectively get together, get a flatbed, and get their bins together and take turns, or do whatever you do. Put in for a membership just monetarily. You pay with either time or money, and money was made with your time anyway, so one way or another people are doing it collectively. So this is the idea, you know, you are trusting people already, and those people have much more power to screw with you and to do something you are against than if you were to dilute that power across many people. Some you may agree with, some you may not, but isn't that really a true representation of society? To let everyone have a say in their actions? Obviously there's still elected officials and people at the head of it, but if they were of my mindset and they actually acted upon the wishes of the people, they have to give the people the chance to voice those wishes first, and just a vote every couple of years for whether or not you get in office or someone else gets in office with no explanation why. It's just a yes or no thing. Yeah, you can rock up and go to, you know, locally I guess you can go to council meetings and things like that, and if you're the right kind of person, maybe you could push on somebody to give you a, what's it called, a Dixie question time, but still, it's nothing like just, you know, letting people, just giving people an opening and let them go. I've been wanting to talk about this new legislation for tattoo parlors, I think since the day before I started doing this, and I just haven't gotten around to it. If you don't know about this, and again, I haven't read into the actual documentation itself yet, but from, you know, the news articles and the New South Wales Police, they're basically going to start regulating and licensing tattoo parlors. The people that want to get their license are going to have to give their finger and palm prints, go through a security check, go through they mentioned some sort of intelligence, like Asia style check or something like that as well. Name all their known you know, employees, contractors, subcontractors, close associates, just everything. They basically give away their rights. They can be checked, like police can go on the premises and search at any time without a warrant. And you know, there's obviously a monetary fee. It's quite hefty as well, and if people don't do this, they'll get ridiculous, you know, $11,000 or $5,000 something a day fines. And the justification for all this is to get bikies to stop using them as fronts. And it's this whole bikie thing again, you see. You let people put in these rules where you can't associate with people. The government will just decide that you're part of some outlaw club, and you have no right of appeal, nothing practical as far as I've read, and you can't associate with other people, and you're basically a second-class citizen, whether or not you've committed any crime. It's ridiculous. People that do illegal things, we have laws for, and they're illegal already. Even if they did illegal things and they've served whatever sentence they have to serve, now they're for life second-class citizens. So you let that go in one minority group, and you think it's going to stop there? No. So now all the tattooists that didn't rise up and make hell when this anti-bikie legislation, which is really, you know, anti-congregation, I don't know what the right word is. You should have spoken up. Now it's your turn. Everyone else, pay attention. You will be next. You don't know when this is going to stop until you stop it. It's ridiculous now. By the way, you go through less scrutiny getting a firearms license. So, what are they stamping out? Well, all these tattoo parlors now are going to do what? They're going to trade in the ink for some bullets to continue their criminal outlaw activities or whatever. It's completely ridiculous, and it doesn't even work anyway. So get angry about that, because what's next? I mean, just think about what could be next. You know, legitimate garages, are going to be next. Just anything that can be loosely associated with bikies, outlaw motorcycle clubs. It's if they're doing something illegal, it's illegal. Make it illegal. Make the penalty, the policing, everything reflect on what they're doing. But that's it. I mean, it's not far away from a thought crime. You know, that's effectively what they're doing. You can't hang out with someone. You two can't associate because you are known to do bad things when you associate. So says the government. So look at it as what it really is. I don't think there was anything else. I saw a couple of other things. You know, I've got the cops on Facebook, and every once in a while they tell us about such a great job that they're doing, and some dude got pulled over. I think one that comes to mind, I don't remember where it was, but some guy had shopping bags full of cash, and so the cops searched his vehicle, and they charged him or arrested him or something like that for, I don't remember the exact charges, but they're effectively related to having a bunch of cash. So, you know, profit from illicit activities, or having, I don't know, I don't remember what it was, but it was basically saying that you're guilty until proven innocent now. You have cash, and unless you can prove how you got that cash, you're guilty. Which in and of itself is rubbish. But just this automatic idea that cops can search you whenever they want. I will guarantee you, unless there's details that they're leaving out, which could be the case, that dude would have agreed to a search, whether he realised it or not. You know, casual copper in the window, do you mind if we search your car? Yeah, sure, no worries. You just agreed to it. You say no. Just say no. Anytime a cop wants to search your car, the answer is no. No, you cannot. This goes back to not being afraid of them. Don't give them shit. I don't hate cops. I'm not saying that. But you have the right to say no. You're walking down the street, and you're not just something that can just be searched automatically at their behest, you know? And the fact that people think they can do that is what makes people afraid of them. I think they still can do that under, you know, terrorist pretenses, but that's something that's on its way out, as it should be, years ago. That's the other thing. I saw on SMH they had that was the end of that, wasn't it? Yeah. Just know your rights, people. Read some rules. And police, you know, don't, you know, if you're dodgy, don't be. Let us be who we are. If you have a tough job, you know, still, you're doing it to enforce law, not to be angry at people and want to seek revenge on them if they do something to piss you off. And that includes making you do your job, you know. If I say no, you get shitty at me and try to stitch me up for something, that's the way it works. So on SMH, I saw they had some sort of video about 9/11, and from the text I could tell it was architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. They were talking about, you know, 1,500 professionals saying that the towers were brought down by explosives or something like that, and it seemed like an hour and something video thing. Obviously I didn't have time to talk at it, but it's interesting how that sort of thing is now not being brought up with, you know, automatic vilification if you dare ask questions that people, you know, just abuse you basically and demonize you, and the question is never talked about, never raised again. So I'm curious about that it's just there, neutral is good, not for or against, it's just there. So tell me what you think about that. If you saw it, maybe even, that's very interesting. Alright, that's pretty much all that I've got for now, let's say. So thanks for commenting if you have. Keep doing the thing. Share, subscribe, follow, like, whatever else you do, view, comment, whatever. Joaquim number 4gov, Joaquim4gov, on Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube. So, okay, see you next time.